we're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
There's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like, I don't want to see Christy because of that. Like, do you worry about that?
No.
Is there something that you want to say about the ad itself? The Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. Do you have...
The ad spoke for itself.
You think the ad spoke for itself? Okay. Yeah. And the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like, that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Hello, my dears. I think cancel culture is officially dead, just based on some of the reactions I've seen from celebrities, especially since celebrities used to be the most likely to cave to public pressure, to apologize or to appease the mob to preserve their public image, as well as their place within the entertainment industry. But a change in tide is definitely happening within that class of people, for sure, just based on the things that I've seen happen recently. I think Keira Knightley was probably the first example of this. Her unapologetic disinterest when asked about the J.K. Rowling boycott, and the way she felt zero pressure to disavow J.K. Rowling when years ago, had that same question been posed, that pressure would have been a lot stronger. Then we recently had the Sydney Sweeney GQ interview, in which the interviewer asked her about her controversial American Eagles jean ad. The interviewer looked so uncomfortable, which makes me wonder as well if she even wanted to ask these questions. But she asked Sweeney about the ad and what Sweeney thought about people thinking that she was trying to promote white jeans as superior. She also asked what her view was on Trump posting about the ad and the controversy. Not to be pedantic, but she never actually said that she had superior jeans. So I am kind of confused as to where that actually came from. But in response, the energy Sweeney gave was quite similar to Keira Knightley's energy, which was pure and simple, unapologetic indifference. She stated that she thought the backlash was surprising because to her it was just a jean ad, implying that she thought the backlash was very much overblown. The interviewer then asks her about Trump and how she felt when he posted support for her in the ad. And she just says that she thought it was surreal and then leaves it at that. When the interviewer pressed a little bit more, she then said that she didn't really follow or keep up with the whole controversy around the ad because she was so busy working. Honestly, within this interview, she just came across as completely unbothered about the whole thing and as if she was kind of bored about the whole controversy and any questions about it in general. But this response, of course, didn't go down very well, just like the Keira Knightley response didn't go down too well.
Listen to what people say and watch how people behave and believe your eyes and ears. Sydney Sweeney just did an interview with GQ. And during this interview, she stated very clearly what mattered to her. And she evaded what clearly did not matter to her. And I think that so often we look to seek and find depth where there is none. We look to see and seek out explanations when there aren't any. She was asked by the reporter about her feelings on the American Eagle ad, as if it was the elephant in the room that they had to really discuss. And during that time, Sydney Sweeney was very blatant about not wanting to talk about it. She was honest and forthcoming about talking about domestic violence and stating that that was important to her. She was clear on the importance of art as it relates to messaging. She's not naive to the fact that what you put out into the world has messages attached to it. She was clear. The effect of the American Eagle ad, she was clear, but she was unbothered. You need to pay attention to what people say and how they act and not pretend it is different than what you see and what you hear. She is not concerned. Race relations in the United States and subliminal messages within American Eagle ads are not a priority in the messaging of what she considers art. She understands messaging within art. Just be clear on that. She understands that art can be interpreted in so many different ways, and she appreciates the various interpretations that it may have. But as it relates to this particular ad, she just loved jeans. As if to say, what is the big deal and why do people keep talking about it? At the end of the interview, or even close to the end, she even said, when pressed by the interviewer about how is it being perceived, or how are people looking at this ad, or do you realize that people are looking at it in this way? She said, when I want to talk about something, people will know it. She's not a fool. She's not a shy kid that doesn't understand the importance of art and the importance of messaging within art. She's clear. So moving forward, when people tell you where they stand, believe them. When they show you where they stand, believe them. Don't think that they're naive or that they're too young to not know what the messaging is behind what it is that they're doing. She's clear, and she's stated it blatantly for all of us to understand. She's not interested in talking about race relations in the United States, and she's definitely not interested in looking deeper into how we see the American Eagle ad.
And to be honest, I think that's exactly it right there. The key words here are how we saw the American Eagles ad. Sydney Sweeney is not responsible for our interpretations of her work. She did not say her jeans are superior, and she definitely did not say that they were superior because they are white. For some people who are, for whatever reason, obsessed with Nazis and white supremacists, they have interpreted that within her work. And let's be honest, they have only interpreted it that way because she's white and also happens to have blonde hair and blue eyes. Had she been any other race, the response would have been very different. For most people, the double meaning they got from her jeans ad was that she has good genes because she's attractive. I personally don't understand why people are acting as though they've never heard someone say someone has good genetics as a way of saying that they are attractive. If people choose to interpret her ad as her saying that white people are superior, something that she didn't say, but some people believe that that was what she subliminally intended to say, I think more needs to be discussed about why they've interpreted it that way, because as they say, our interpretations are heavily influenced by our own internal beliefs and emotions.
At the end of the day, guys, choosing not to say something in the current political climate says everything. If I was Sydney Sweeney and the entire internet thought that I championed eugenics, that I believed that I was a white supremacist, that I was a racist person, and an interviewer asked me point blank, like, hey, people think that you're a eugenicist. They think that you believe that white people are superior. You sit there and you go, I did a jean ad. I like jeans. When I have something to say, you'll know. It's very weird to me as a political scientist to not refute this, to not immediately say, of course I don't believe in eugenics. Of course I don't believe in white supremacy. Of course, obviously there are these connotations, but like, that was not my intention putting this out. I don't know why that's so hard to say, which is why it's incredibly weird that she didn't say that. There is also the issue of the GQ interviewer who just simply did not do her job. The whole exchange was very giggly and very soft. Like, I get that it's uncomfortable asking someone, do you think you're a eugenicist? But I feel like you could have framed it as like, I'm going to give you the opportunity to clear this up now.
It's quite funny actually, because she's taking the don't complain, don't explain route. To be honest, once again, you can interpret her choosing to not talk about it as confirmation of your own biases. But personally, I do think it's because she thinks the whole thing is so stupid and she can't be bothered to dignify it by giving it any oxygen or explaining away all of the absurd accusations over the fact that she remade a Brooke Shields Calvin Klein jeans ad. I think what she said in this interview further confirms this for me.
You talked about also how you were shocked that your American Eagle ad reached the White House and how it created so much conversation about who you are and what you stand for. How do you process when there's so much perception being projected onto you?
You just know who you are. And the people who matter and are your friends and your family, they know who I am. And that's all to me, like, that's what's most important. Everything else is just noise.
I think the reason why she is throwing people off is because it's actually very unusual, especially for women, to not care this much about what people think, to the point where she doesn't even feel the need to try and explain or try and convince them of anything. She won't even take the time to explain herself or take the time to confirm or deny anything, because as she said herself, she knows who she is and she views all of the outside opinions as just noise. And for people who have grown used to demanding apologies from public figures or people who have grown used to getting public figures to cave to them. Indifference is a very weird thing for them to witness, and I don't think they quite know how to handle it, especially because it's particularly unusual for this to come from a young celebrity. Some people are really reading into her surreal comment and interpreting it as her saying that Trump posting about her ad was a great thing, because they are so used to people using the word surreal in a primarily positive context.
But let me also, I don't see people talking specifically about this portion of the interview where they talk about Trump going to Truth Social and politicizing her backlash and the American Eagle ad, right? When someone uses the word surreal, majority of the time, even though it represents like a whirlwind or a lot happening at once, majority of the time people use surreal in a net positive in their life, right? If I asked you, Freddie Freeman, like, how's it feel to win a World Series ring? He'd probably say, man, it's so surreal. You can't believe that it's happening to you, but it's a net positive. And my thing is, it doesn't take much for a celebrity to say, hey, I'm going to get away from that, okay? I'm not with these lunatics. Hey, if you're really a fan of me, I'm not racist. Things like, it doesn't take much. Even if you are racist, it doesn't take much to go, hey, let me separate myself from these weirdos. I'm not them. That's not my cup of tea. There was no point in the interview in which she did that, right? And I think that's why some of the people who are kind of like on the side of that ad now are like, yeah, dog, you kind of racist because you're kind of giddy about Trump mentioning you, and you refuse to take the time out to say, nah, let me remove myself.
Now, I can see why, because there are some people who use the word to describe positive experiences. The actual definition of the word is an adjective to describe something that's so bizarre or unreal. And you can definitely use this in either a positive or a negative context. You could use it to describe something that's so amazing that you just can't believe it's happening, and so it feels surreal. Based on the context of what Sweeney was saying within this interview, I personally interpreted her use of the word to probably mean that she thought it was surreal that the president of the country was talking about what she felt was just a Gene ad. What I think she meant when she said it was surreal was that she just couldn't believe that the controversy around the ad was so big that it got the attention of the president. Because the interviewer follows up and says this:
the president tweeted about the Jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the Jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone. And I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm. And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, and conveniently some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
I don't think that it's not that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
And her response again wasn't exactly screaming, oh my God, it was the best moment of my life. I think some celebrities are now moving away from talking about controversies and politics and choosing to only discuss the projects that they are currently promoting, which is why they are giving these very indifferent, low energy responses to questions like this. And the pressure that cancel culture once had no longer seems to compel them to speak on these issues anymore. Now, some people will hate this shift because they think that celebrities should essentially be activists and they should absolutely use their platforms to speak about all the issues that they find important. But many will also welcome this, as many are tired, to be honest, of hearing celebrities shove their politics down their throats, especially when they are often very out of touch with the experiences of normal people. Though personally I do enjoy politics, I don't want to have it in my face all the time. And so I am very much welcoming of celebrities choosing to move away from talking about that kind of stuff all the time. It is nice to be able to just switch off, and it's very difficult to do that when politics is being shoved into all forms of entertainment. But what do you think? Do you think that we are seeing the end of cancel culture? And do you think we are moving into an era where celebrities are now probably going to stop speaking as much on these kinds of issues? I'd love to read your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. If you found this video interesting, you may as well like and subscribe. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I shall see you in my next video.